our natural instinct of how to solve the problem turns out to be doing things that make the problem worse rather than better. You probably have responses to worry identified in the inventory you created in Chapter 3 that you'll be better off without. Those are your buckets of gasoline. Counterintuitive problems. How could this happen? How can we go so far wrong as to make our situation worse by trying to make it better? It's not hard, really, nor is it uncommon. Worry is a special kind of counterintuitive problem, one in which your gut instincts of how to help yourself are likely to make it worse rather than better. When you try to solve a counterintuitive problem with intuitive solutions, things usually get worse. When my son at 2 years old would say no to everything, that was a counterintuitive problem for me. I would sometimes forget that he was learning to be independent, learning to use a powerful word, and that this was exciting and fun for him. Sometimes I would approach him as if I just needed to share my adult knowledge with him and help him see the error of his ways. So, we would argue. The more we argued, the more he delighted in saying no. His favorite phrase was, "Because not." Now he's 20 and we still do this occasionally, for old time's sake. If I try to solve a counterintuitive problem with an intuitive solution, I'm probably going to fail. If I want to solve a counterintuitive problem, I need a solution that is counterintuitive. I need to fight fire with fire. This isn't as bizarre as it might sound. There are many everyday examples of this. I learned as a young child, when my puppy got off her leash, that if I chased her, she would run away. She had 4 legs to my 2, so the results were always poor. But if I ran away from her, she would chase me, and then I could grab her collar when she caught me. Counterintuitive. When you're wading into the ocean and a large wave comes toward you, if you turn and run for shore, that wave will probably break on your shoulders and knock you down. You'll swallow salt water and sand. But if you dive into the base of the wave, it'll pass right over you as if it were nothing. Counterintuitive. Driving on an icy road and starting to skid toward a phone pole? If you try to steer away from that pole, you'll probably be talking to your insurance agent soon. However, if you steer into the skid and aim for the pole, who is the brave guy that first figured this out, you'll straighten out and be okay. Counterintuitive. There are lots of counterintuitive problems. When the military trained soldiers to respond to an ambush, they trained them to run toward the enemy, not away. Why? Well, the other side is expecting you to run away, and that's where they plan to shoot next. I hope they're not listening to this. If you're stuck in quicksand? Okay, you get the idea. Counterintuitive. The difficulty with solving counterintuitive problems is that when you're trying so hard to solve a problem and see that you're failing, your natural instinct is to try harder, and that makes things worse. It can almost feel like an insult when the world doesn't respond to your solution. This often leads people to get frustrated and upset with themselves while they continue to make things worse. Attitudes about thoughts. The previous examples all involve counterintuitive problems in the world around us. It's even trickier when we have counterintuitive challenges in our internal world, in our own minds. We have some unexamined assumptions about our thoughts that influence our reactions in unhelpful ways. Our brains are not like computers that simply generate output. A computer generates an answer to a problem. Maybe it calculates something for you, or maybe it formats material you've written into a letter format, and it has no opinion about what it produced. You ask a computer a question, and that's all you get, the answer. Not so with our brains. We have thoughts, including worries. We also have attitudes, beliefs, and thoughts about our thoughts. One belief about thoughts that we briefly examined in Chapter 3 is the belief that thoughts can be dangerous. Let's take another look at that. Are thoughts dangerous? Want to try an experiment? Take a minute now to think about the device playing this audiobook, exploding and catching fire. Think about it in great detail. Picture the flames burning off the case, the scent of burning copper, smoke spiraling toward the ceiling. Any minute the smoke alarm should start screeching a warning. And yet, here you are, your gadget still in one piece, listening to these words. It seems clear that thoughts aren't dangerous. Only actions can be dangerous.